Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Basement Show with Mr. Nast. Tonight we have our usual Friday night movie night segment, and tonight we will talk about Mr. Simmons' favorite movie, Scott Pilgrim versus the World. So, Sam, it's your favorite movie. If you want to drop an intro, feel free. The show is yours.
Oh, I say we just jump right into it
Hmm.
because this is definitely a weird movie.
Hi,
I will admit that, and I know it's
Curtis.
not up everybody's alley. But
Good evening, Kev.
welcome, Kev. Welcome, Curtis. How are you guys doing? But yeah, this has been my favorite movie for years. Um, I don't know what really got me into this movie. Um, uh, it's always been one of those movies that I can watch over and over and over again and enjoy every time. So
Well, it's one and done for me. I'm not watching it.
I kind of feel like I'll be the same though. Like I mentioned earlier, it wasn't like my favorite, but it definitely wasn't the worst thing I've seen. But I don't know if I would like on a rainy day just sit down and watch it again.
yeah, like I said, I know that it's not everybody's cup of tea. But it is one of my favorites. Uh, I like the aspect um, that they use with getting that comic book theme.
Hmm.
Because if you're not aware, this was actually based on a set of, I guess you'd call them graphic
Graphic
novels,
novels, yeah.
uh, of which I have all six of. And so they actually took all six of these graphic novels and put them into one movie. But I think the way that the director was able to get a lot of those transitions
Hmm.
um, and make it very comic book like was really awesome.
I liked just going off of that comic feel. Like I liked the text popping up throughout. You know, you get the ring of the bell, and it's the ring, and it's spread across. You know, like I thought that was kind of fun. You got your bams and pows, and
Oh yeah. Um, it's the cinematography of it. I think for me is what makes this movie because it is a strange story.
mm.
And
Strange. That's
um, I mean, a guy meets a girl, has to fight off seven deadly exes, to
Mm.
win the girl, and learns a couple lessons on the way. It's definitely hard to grasp, but when you've seen it, close to, 1,000 plus times, you and when if you've read the comics, and the comics get even weirder.
Mm.
Comics introduce like alternate universes, and it's really weird, but
so we
still
can,
good.
so you can say that how I am with the Goonies, you are with Scott Pilgrim in the world versus the world.
Kind of, yeah. Maybe not
Okay.
as much. I I
Whoa,
ain't
whoa,
gonna.
whoa, whoa! You
I
just said
I
a
ain't.
thousand plus times. I mean, I've watched mine about 10,000 times, but come on, give me some credit.
In a way, yes, but I say not quite as much because I'm not traveling to Vancouver.
No, you got it wrong already. A story yet.
Well, no, I'm saying I'm not traveling to Vancouver for my movie because that's where Scott Pilgrim
Ah,
takes place.
okay.
In the faraway land, if you remember from the beginning, in the faraway land of Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah.
True.
So Curtis, that one's for you. Movie based in Canada.
So I took a little bit of notes. I didn't take much because I will admit I felt lost. But one note I did, like, I I was really into. I really liked right before the movie actually started to hear like the video game noise in the background, and I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was just on point. It was a great way to start the movie. And then I noted like they did the starting credit scenes instead of the end credit scene. And you had Scott with his band in the background just rocking out, and then as the credits roll, and I thought that was kind of cool too.
Yeah, it does bring in back that old school feel of the retro video game feel, especially with that opening video game music, very reminiscent of your Sega SNES, Nintendo stuff. And that's what the movie is going after. It's going after that comic book feel, but the comic books are also based, they go for that video game feel.
Right.
And so that's another thing, that if you look at the movie as if it were a video game, as if they were living a video game rather than a reality that we know, the movie kind of makes a little more sense.
See, now that you've said that, like I can picture it now, and I'm like, okay, now I don't feel as judgmental, because I felt lost. I really did. Like, the scene jumps were just too frequent. It's like, oh, you've got one scene and immediately you're into a next scene, and it's like, well, I understand they're trying to go for that comic book feel where it's like, the next day, like I just felt so lost at times, and then it got me thinking. I was like, did any of this really happen? Like, is this real life? Is this guy like,
is this just fantasy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like,
I'm still convinced there was a mix between Dance Dance Revolution and Mortal Kombat, and I'm sticking with
yeah.
Well, the game that they play in the movie is 100% Dance Dance Revolution mixed with Mortal Kombat.
But ninja style, like, what was that?
But, yeah, so my question with that game was, what's up with the ninja moves? Like, they just needed to dance and move their feet. The added ninja, like, it was fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just like, what does this have to do with the game? Like,
well,
if you dance moves.
If you've ever gone to an arcade and actually watched a group of like intense Dance Dance Revolution players, they actually do moves like that. They'll get in partners, and part of like DDR competitions were the creativity. It wasn't just so much what kind of score can you get on the game,
right?
Because a lot of people can just stand there and hit buttons with their feet. But when you add in those extra moves, that's when it got fun. And it's so the video games, the video game feels, and you see it multiple times throughout the movie. Every time he beats one of the X's, the X's turn into coins. Right. And when you look at it, as the movie progresses and as the movie moves along, every time he defeats an X, you get more and more, that pile of coins becomes bigger and bigger.
I like how on the first X he picks up the coins and he's excited, and then he goes, "Oh, it's only $2.45." Like he was very sad about it. Like,
yeah, he was disappointed. He's like, "That doesn't even pay for the bus ride home."
Yeah.
And so and then of course you get Ramona, who's just like, "I'll give you the extra quarter." Sort of like, let's get out of here.
Good evening, Julie. Thanks for popping in. Sam 1v1 on DDR. Oh man, that would actually be a good competition.
If this were 15 years ago, I would not hesitate to take you up on that offer.
Oh, I think Sam's scared. I mean, if I can play up the game movie, I'll play.
I haven't played Dance Dance Revolution in about 15 years. That used to be one of my favorite games to play. I used to love it.
I used to have Dance Dance Revolution for, I think it was the PlayStation 3.
Yes.
I have a PlayStation 2. I'm going old school.
Did you have the mat that you plugged in?
Yeah.
I drove my mom insane because we used to have a 2-story house. And my room was right above hers. And so I would be playing that, and all she'd hear is thump, 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 thump.
Right. No, we were like the cool kids in school because we had that game, and then we had like our birthday parties, and we brought, like, hey, we own this. Like, let's play,
Yeah, you didn't have to go to the arcade. And now I still much preferred the arcade versions better. Because
you can never get on the game. Back in the day, you could never get on the game.
It is true. It is true. It was like old school 80s arcade
Mhm.
where you had to like, okay, this is my quarter. I'm putting my quarter up here. This is
Right.
my quarter. And claim your spot in line. Between that and the Terminator game.
Mhm.
But so let's start at the beginning. With Andrew, you mentioned it. The beginning of the movie credits.
Mhm.
Not something we see a lot today.
Right. I mean,
Um,
this was in 2010, so I mean, by 2010, that's what 12 years ago, movies had graduated from the beginning credits to the end credits.
yeah, so it's interesting to see, but I think the way they did it was really cool.
Mhm.
You get Scott Pilgrim, you get that little small introduction of, sort of introducing your characters.
Yeah.
Meet Scott, you meet Knives, and then they introduce Steven, along with Knives sort of at the same time. And then it's Scott sort of, showing off to the new girlfriend.
Who's 17, by the way.
Yeah, I wrote that in my notes. Like, he's 22 and dating a high schooler. I mean, I don't know what time period this movie's supposed to be based in. Like, if that was like really frowned upon. I mean, like, his sister Stacy makes a big scene about it, but like, she's the only one that seems to care that he's dating a high schooler.
I mean, you get the others who mention it. They're like, she's in high school. You get his roommate later on who's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
He even makes reference, your fake high school girlfriend. But then you get, after that whole scene, we really jump into the movie.
Right.
We get to meet his roommate.
Wallace.
We get to meet, we get to meet
He's my favorite.
Can I ask one question real quick? I saw your last name in the credits. That's Macaulay Culkin's brother, correct?
I think so.
Okay, I know because he has like 3 or 4 different brothers. I think that was one of them.
Yeah, I do believe that is one of Macaulay Culkin's brothers. And so it's he's one of my favorite characters. I do like Wallace. And we'll get to one of my favorite scenes with him later on. But so we get Wallace and they introduce Scott and Wallace in this way of, okay, we're gonna show you the apartment, and it's literally like a 1-room apartment. Like, this apartment is literally nothing but the living room and the bathroom, and then the kitchen is all part of the living room, and
It's called a studio, Sam.
and so but this place is tiny. They have one bed.
Which never seemed to be empty, by the way. I'm just saying.
One bed that never seems to be empty. There's always someone random in the bed. But then I like the way that they edited it. Oh, this is sort of picturing Scott as this, he's 22, he doesn't really work, doesn't really have anything going on in his life other than this band. And they show that by going, oh, this is all Wallace's stuff.
I was gonna say,
and then,
did you guys catch that?
And, Wallace, Scott, at the jacket that he had just taken off as he entered into the apartment, and then Wallace, all over again. And so I like how they introduce some of these characters, and develop their characters. Then we move on. He meets with the band again, and they get told, oh, I got us a gig, and it's with the Toronto International Battle of the Bands competition.
Yep.
and so they introduce us to this, and some people understand. Some people know what Battle of the Bands is. Some people don't. And it's it's literally just. I mean, back in the day, it used to be really big. This was before the day of like American Idol and America's Got Talent, things like that, where you could go and gain that same fame. They used to have the Battle of the Bands, and you could join up in these Battle of the Bands to try to get your recording contract. And so he and this is where the movie starts to get weird, because he goes out on that date with Knives. He meets her after school, and that's where you see Wallace sort of poking. I won't even say poking fun. He's literally calling him out, like, why are we here? Why am I here? And and then Knives comes out, and we can assume.
What kind of name is Knives? Is that like, I don't remember. Was that like her actual name, or was that just something that they called her because they couldn't pronounce her first name?
As far as I know, that's her name, Knives Chow. Now, where that comes from, we don't really even know. Even from what I remember of the comic book, because it had been a while since I've read the comic books, but they never really make it clear that's just, it's Knives.
Yeah,
I feel like it's I feel like it's playing on that video game idea. It's
definitely a cool name. I just couldn't remember if maybe they mentioned like, oh, that's really not her name. We just don't know how to pronounce it, so we just call her Knives.
No, from the very beginning, when they ask, when they were eating breakfast together at the very beginning, even before the opening credits, they ask her, "Oh, what's her name?" And he just sort of, as he's holding his coffee, Knives Chow, and makes an emphasis, say she's Chinese. And so, and every time he's introducing her to anybody, he always emphasizes she's Chinese. Don't know why, but I did notice that in the movie.
Maybe he thought that they would be impressed that he's not dating some random girl, but he's dating a Chinese girl.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought that it would just be impressive, like, oh, he found someone who's not American, like, that's cool.
Yeah. And I think it's funny. With Wallace and how he's always texting Scott's sister, who was played by Anna Kendrick.
I was gonna say all-star cast in this movie, surprisingly, like some really high names, well-known actors and actresses in this movie.
You have Anna Kendrick, you have Chris Evans, Michael Cera himself. Back in that day, that he was kind of a bigger name in some of those, I wouldn't call them indie movies. But some of those more emo type romantic movies.
Right.
Well, that's what Michael Cera did back in the day, honestly. He did Juno.
Yeah.
Social Network. Yeah, it was in what else? He was in Superbad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see like, the whole emo thing out of it.
Yeah. I mean, nothing against that.
Matthew, to answer your question, what do I think of the new Winnie the Pooh movie? I think it's interesting. I'm not a horror person, but I'm interested to see the storyline. Like, I understand it a little bit, but I'm kind of interested to see how this movie comes to play. Like, if it's going to be a hit or if it's going to flop.
I haven't seen a trailer for it. I don't know. I heard you're doing a live action one, but
I haven't seen it.
So,
Didn't even know
sorry,
that they were
Matt.
making it.
Not much of an opinion if I haven't seen it. So,
Yeah, sorry, Matt. But when we see Wallace and when he first learns of Knives, and it sounds like they literally just started. Scott and Knives just started dating, sort of at the beginning of the movie, because all of his friends and even his roommate are just now meeting her.
Sorry, my
And
cords came unplugged.
and then you have Wallace who just like nonchalantly it's like reading newspaper and you see his hand going like this, because this is 2010. This is before iPhones and Androids were as big as they are in the smartphones.
Right.
So this is in the day of you even see him flip open the phone.
oh yeah, the one kid had a razor phone. I noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Now, Sam, I have a question for you about Wallace. Do you think he was telepathic in a way? Because I only ask because that one scene where he's like dead asleep to the world, he somehow managed to text Scott's sister.
Yeah, and that's one of my favorite because even Scott's like he's unconscious. I don't know, but it is very possible. I mean, with a movie like this, and as weird as it already is, it would not surprise me. I think that's just part of his character. I think it's just part of his character, and even though he was like blackout drunk walking into the apartment,
Right.
And just literally just face plants on the bed. But and that's when we meet Scott's sister is when the first time he texts her, and then she complains. It's like, oh, who is she? Yeah, and Scott's like, well, she's, her name is Knives Chow. She's Chinese, a Chinese schoolgirl. It's sort of playing on that. That once again that Japanese, sort of culture stereotype.
Right.
Of a or the I won't say Japanese, but the Asian schoolgirl type thing. When where we get all of our anime type anime type games.
Mm-hmm.
Playing off of that stereotype. And then then he's like, oh, and she's she goes to a Catholic school.
Right.
And adding even more to that sort of
weirdness
stereotype. So she's a Chinese Catholic, which that combination, I'm not saying it's not possible, but to find a Catholic Chinese person, you're gonna be hard pressed. I'm not gonna lie, like I just don't feel like those two go together.
You never know.
But yeah, like you never know. Maybe she was adopted by somebody who was Catholic. Who knows?
Maybe.
Because we never do get to meet her parents.
Right.
No, they break up before then.
Yeah, that's kind of when they break up. And Scott's like, yeah.
About that.
To go back to more of the beginning of the movie when Scott's with Knives and they're going for a walk and she wants to see like his secret lair, and then he's like, no, it's no girls allowed, but do you want to see my childhood home? And then conveniently his childhood home is just across the street.
Right across the street.
Do you think his childhood home is legit across the street, or do you think they just did like a jump where it's not really across the street, but we don't want to show them walking forever to get to his childhood house?
No, I think it was legit across the street, which once again I think plays into Scott's character of he's reliant on other people, because it shows, okay, he moved from his parents' house right across the street to his best friend's house now. But because you don't see any sign of a scene jump there.
Right, and that's what me and my husband were discussing, was maybe they just wanted it to seem like as though it's just coincidental, But then I'm like, no, I really wonder if it really is just across the streets.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
is, sometimes it isn't. So
Mm-hmm. And so that was a, yeah, I mean, it's a good question. It's especially with a movie like this, it's paying attention to how, and because I think the reason I say there's no sign of a scene jump is because this director, he makes those scene switches and those scene jumps
Obvious.
very, very intentional.
Yeah.
And very obvious. And so we get that we don't get that any of that here. You know, like there was the scene that you mentioned earlier, which was when Wallace first messaged his sister and his sister finds out, and then the way that they transfer, I really like this part because it was very intentional. So when you first get into that scene and when her sister first calls, that screen is split in half. And then slowly you see, as the conversation goes, you see that screen pan to the left. Or pan from the left to the right.
Right.
In the same direction that you would normally read a comic book.
Uh-huh.
And then, as the conversation ends, you see her less and less, and then it's just Scott, and then you see the visual of the bell ringing, and it carries on as the screen is still panning right, and it goes into that next scene, just like it would in a comic book. And those are the kind of scene transitions that I really like, because it was very intentional, and the way that they did it really got into that comic book feel. But then they get to the first, or they go on their little date, and it was sort of on that little date where all of a sudden Scott has this, I don't even know what to call it. I want to say hallucination?
Yeah, with what was her name? Ramona?
Where we first get introduced to Ramona. Now at this point we don't know who she is, what's going on. But you just see Scott, all of a sudden he goes from being in this snowy Canada street to now all of a sudden he's like, where am I? And he's in some Scott Pilgrim versus the world. That's what we're talking about. And he goes from having this, goes to like dropping on his knees in the desert. And he's like, I'm all alone. I'm gonna die. Just becomes very depressed.
Yeah, and I remember that, and I'm like thinking, well, what happened? Like he's with knives, and then all of a sudden he's like depressed. Oh, I'm gonna die alone. I'm gonna be alone.
Yeah. And there's part of me that thinks, because if you watch the movie, I think that's Scott's inner self.
Makes sense.
I know it might sound weird, but as the movie has told us, he's obviously just gone through, in the
like a really bad breakup. Yeah,
a really, really bad breakup. And because you see his friends, they tiptoe around him a little bit, especially when it comes to that girl.
She who must not be named, which I loved.
Yeah.
Like a lot like my ex-girlfriends.
And so you see, her name, Envy, Envy Adams, who once again we talked about the all-star cast in this movie, and Envy Adams is now, back then she wasn't as well known, but now we know her as none other than Captain Marvel, Brie Larson.
You know what is interesting to me? So IMDb has like their top cast list, and Chris Evans wasn't listed as a top cast, which really baffled me because back in 2010, I'm pretty sure Chris Evans was widely known.
Oh yeah, because he was doing that. When did the
I was gonna say, was it like Avengers out in 2010? Like I could be
it
remembering
was
wrong, or was it Captain America?
Captain America, wasn't it?
the first fan. Well, he had recently also played in Fantastic Four as Johnny. And the first Captain America movie actually didn't come out until 2011.
Oh, okay.
So he was just getting ready. This was before he really became the huge household name. I mean, he was still sort of a small household name.
Okay, but he wasn't like the big, well-known actor that we know of.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes more sense because I'm just like, he's a pretty well-known guy. Like, why isn't he listed in their top cast?
Yeah, and well, that and in that movie, he only played in one major scene.
And that one scene, I just gotta ask if you guys picked up on this. So you notice how like they gave him like this really hoarse, like grave voice, and he I just could not stop picturing Ben Stiller in Dodgeball with that with that voice. You know, I'm like, is this Chris Evans or is this Ben Stiller?
Or are we watching Dodgeball?
Yeah. Right. Like I just couldn't get that out of my head. And I'm like, the voice that they just made Chris Evans use, like I just was getting it's just Dodgeball.
Yeah. So but so then we meet, we sort of get introduced to Envy and who she is. This ex-girlfriend that he had this horrible breakup with. And so I think that when we see that first, what I'll call a hallucination, I think that's his inner self. Yeah, he's with Knives. He's supposed to be happy. He seems happy. They're playing a game. So he seems happy, but in reality, he's not. And I think sort of he's still inside. He's depressed, and he just still
right. He's still in that grieving process of being dumped, and
even a year later, because I think they mentioned it was about a year, where it had almost been a year,
right?
Some phrasing like that. But then after that, we get Knives and Scott in the library.
Right. And he mentions like it's depressing because it reminds him of elementary school.
Yeah, and he mentions how much he hated school. And she's all happy, and they once again, I think they play on the Asian stereotype.
She's supposed to be smart and all this,
just grabbing book after book, and he's just holding this huge stack of books in his hand. And so I never did. I don't think I've ever actually looked at like the title of any of those books to see exactly what she's grabbing.
One of them I remember seeing was like a geometry book, so a math book. So I'm wondering if she's just buying like text, or she's renting out textbooks.
It does sort of look like that. And so like I said, it's playing off that Asian stereotype. And so once again, then they head downstairs, and here's where he finally, for the first time, lays eyes on Ramona Flowers. And he sees her, and like he just stops dead in his track, like, I saw her in my hallucination. I saw her, and he's just staring at her until she leaves. And then Knives just sort of looks at him and is like, "Do you know her?" No. And then we flip the scene. And I think that's where you sort of see Scott. We get those scenes where it's a lot of quick scene changes, one right after the other, where you see Scott, 1 minute he's with Knives, and then he's at band practice, and Steven is looking at him going, Scott, what are you doing? You played one note the entire song. And he's like, wait, where am I?
Yeah, he's just kind of like, oh, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then, because he's like, huh, what? And then, and then the scene changes again, and like, well, I told you we're going to this party. And so they go to this party, where you get to meet Ramona more. And he sort of follows her around the party, and he tries to talk to her. And one thing, if you notice in that scene where he spots her up against the wall, and she's drinking her drink. And you see, if you look up on the wall and you look and notice where the light switch is on the wall. Normally your light switches are, sort of at your shoulder height, right where you'd reach out and just, turn it on or off. But if you look at this scene, the light switch is probably 3 to 4 feet above his head. Which, yeah, and it's something even I didn't notice until this most recent viewing, because it's one of those, just small details. And I was just reading this article, sort of, because you guys are like, this movie makes no sense. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna look up, so Scott Pilgrim explained type of articles, and it pointed out, and that's when I noticed this, because it pointed out, and so as I watched the movie, I'm like, huh, that is weird. But the way they explained it was sort of, it's to show you how small Scott really feels. Because at this moment, he's going to try to talk to this girl. He's still dealing with that major breakup. He feels small.
Right.
And, and then he totally botches this whole introduction thing. You see him, you can tell how nervous he is. And I think the whole how small he feels is sort of, also pushed by the fact that he's gripping his cup and like he's just squeezing this red Solo cup. And so, then he follows her around the party, and when he gets home, that's when he talks to Wallace, and that's when that whole scene that you were talking about, Andrea, comes up with is he telepathic? Because it was after that party. Scott's laying in bed thinking, oh, this is the girl of my dreams. I really think she's the girl of my dreams. What should I do? And that's when Wallace is like, you should dump your, break up with your fake high school girlfriend. And that's when he brings that in.
Mm-hmm.
His sort of I'll say discontent with him dating someone so much younger than him.
Right.
It was definitely weird.
It was a little.
I mean, like, so yeah, she's 17. She's a senior, obviously, but like that still doesn't make it okay. You know what I mean? Like, she's still underage. She's still 5 years younger than he is. Now, if she was 19 and he was 24, like that would be okay. But like 17 and 22, nah.
No, that's not even okay nowadays.
Yeah.
No. But so then you get that whole second conversation between Scott and his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And then the scene quickly switches to Scott sitting at the computer, and he's ordering something off of Amazon.
And he has to ask what the Amazon website was. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I find it funny how he turns around and he's like, Wallace! And Wallace wakes up, like, shoots up in bed, like, what? Amazon.ca. What's the website for that? And Wallace just looks on Amazon.ca. Oh, okay. He's like, this internet is so cool. And he's like, I even got an email. And then he just sort of skims through this email, but you get the gist of what it's saying. It's from someone saying, oh, we're going to fight to the death. And he's just like, blah, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. Boring. Delete. And he deletes this email. And this is before he had even asked Ramona out. Because then you get to the scene where he orders this thing off of Amazon because Ramona is this mail carrier.
Mm-hmm.
That what you would call him, mail carrier. Dropping off
his Amazon package.
The Amazon package. But you get to the point where he orders it online, and then all of a sudden now he's sitting in the door, and Wallace just looked at him like, "Are you waiting for your package?" Goes through this. It's not even gonna ship till Monday. Type thing, and then you hear the doorbell ring, and it's knives. And this is where you really get this sort of
clingy girlfriend.
sad date, I guess you could say. Scott, this is where you can see, Knives is all happy. She's excited. She's holding his hand. And Scott is just sort of dragging along.
Been there, done that.
And Scott is just like, I don't know. Some people say, oh, that's his sign of, that's the sign in the movie of showing that he's not happy in that relationship.
Right.
And it was really just we're just using this relationship to get over a past one. The rebound type thing.
Yeah, they always say a rebound.
Yeah. And so he's rebounding sort of with this high school girl, which almost makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Makes that whole relationship worse in a way. But then we have the scene where Ramona finally drops off the package. And Scott goes through this once again, a botched introduction. And he's just, I was going to ask you out, but then I thought that would be weird. You want to go out with me? And he kind of goes through this really forced, like, go out with me type thing. Really childish.
Right. He becomes almost obsessed. Like, it's like, oh, this girl, like, I've seen her everywhere now. I have to ask her out, like, just obsessive about her.
Yeah, and I'm almost wondering, like, if she would have, like, turned away and, like, just set the package on the ground and, like, walked away, would he have chased after her?
Right. I wonder, though, if he would have, like...
I think he does, the way he was obsessed with her.
At that point, yeah. And that's another thing about this movie is you see Scott grow. It's sort of I won't say grow. You see him mature throughout the movie.
Yeah.
And that's one of the speculations that is that each of the X's that he has to fight are sort of him fighting his own inner demons, like his own faults, until at the end when he sort of beats the boss and he sort of conquers himself.
I could definitely see that. Yeah.
And so, so he goes out on this date with her. They're sitting on the swings, and it's you get the blizzard, and then they end up at her house. Where
Yeah.
I've always tried to memorize her list of teas. Every time I watch the movie, I try to say her list of teas as fast as she can, and I can never do it. Been trying for years. And then so you get this, the whole scene of him and her sort of spending the night together with nothing happening. And we know nothing happened.
It's a PG-13 movie.
Well, yeah. Well, no, but we know nothing happened because he wakes up the next morning. He's like, "Can this not just be a one-night stand?" First of all, I didn't get any. And
Our kids keep coming out needing stuff.
And so, he's like, first of all, I didn't get any, and second of all, and that's when he asked her out on a sort of the second date, and she's like, "What do you have in mind?" "Oh, well, I'm in a band, and we have this show." And you can see in her face, "Oh, you're in a band." Sort of like, I've been there, I've done that. Do I really have to do that again?
Yeah, because she doesn't say it. Like, yeah, I can see her body language what you mean, but like, you don't know why she's acting like that.
Yeah, at this point you don't. I mean, later on in the movie you find out exactly why.
Yep.
But at this point, it's you're just like, well, dang, she's kind of stuck up, isn't she? But she agrees. She agrees, and and then she shows up, and then the next scene quickly switches over to the venue where they're playing their first band, and she shows up, and it's during this where you see the first fight against the X's. Our Indian friend. I'm trying to remember his name. I know I should know it. What was his name?
Indian friend?
Matthew Patel. That's who it was. Matthew Patel, the Indian guy who he fights on stage while they're in the middle of their concert, and he bursts through the roof. And once again, you get this video game fight feel.
Yeah.
You see the health bars pop up. You get this sort of mini boss entrance type feel. And you get this boss fight. And they start going at it. And you even get the mini boss monologue.
Right.
I think is funny.
Yeah. I thought that was a clever bit to the movie, was like that little monologue, like sorry. And I just thought that was kind of clever because that's how video games were back in the day. Like, you have this boss fight and you get a little like dialogue beforehand, before the big fight.
Yeah, the boss always goes on that monologue, and you get sort of the backstory of why they're there and why they're in the room that they're in, or whatever. And here we get the backstory of the relationship between Matthew and Ramona, and you get through that whole scene, and she's telling, oh, well, this is how we met, this is what happened, and this is why I broke up with them. And then they fight, and that's when, after Scott beats him, that's when he picks up the $2 and $2 and change, and it's like, this isn't even enough for the bus ride home. And that's when Ramona sort of explained, okay, this is what's going on. If we're gonna date, we're going to, you're gonna have to deal, you're gonna have to deal with this. This is gonna happen.
Well, you notice that when she writes down her phone number, and you see the X's at the bottom of the number.
Yeah, and when she gave him a number, you see the X's. Now, first, any normal, oh, those are 7 kisses. And Scott makes references like, well, what do you think the X's were? Oh, I thought they were kisses. And so, and if you notice throughout the movie, you're seeing X's everywhere.
Yeah, I noticed that. Like, there was that one girl who just, I want to say it was Scott, where she just keeps popping up, and he's like, "Do you have every job? Like, or is there a job that you don't work, or something like that?"
Yeah.
No, it was Mae Whitman, wasn't it?
What?
I said that character was Mae Whitman, wasn't it? The one that just pops up out of nowhere.
That was, I think, one of his like classmates.
Okay.
And trying to remember, Julie.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, Julie.
Okay.
And because that was Steven's ex-girlfriend, and Steven is sort of still caught up on her.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that at the party when he first met Ramona, because he kept on trying to put his arm around her, and she kept shrugging it off. And then, so then we see Ramona sort of explain, okay, this is what's going on. I had 7 exes, and you're gonna have to fight them in order to date me. And he's sort of like, so we're dating? Which at this point, he's still technically dating Knives.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now he's dating Ramona. And then, a scene later, you have Scott telling Wallace that, I need you to leave tonight. I invited Ramona over for dinner. And that's when you see Steve Wallace start harping on him like, you need to break up with Knives. You need to break up with Knives. And then we get to their first, I guess, technical dinner date. I think that first one was just sort of a meetup and semi hookup. But then they have dinner. He sings the song that he wrote for which was literally just her name.
That's what I didn't understand about some of those bands. It's like two is okay. That was it.
Yeah, that was. It was during that first competition where like that first band goes on and like their first song is just 1 note and 2 words.
Yep.
And it's like, huh?
What?
And then they go into the full song. And it was just kind of weird.
I kind of liked their music. Like, I wasn't a fan of a lot of things in this movie, but the music was actually pretty good.
Scott's band?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I actually like their, I actually like sort of that rock feel.
Well, you definitely got it.
That punk rock. We're gonna be depressed but still rock.
Emo rock.
I think you really get the feel of I'm trying to think of like bands to compare them to.
Well, like when I think of emo rock, the first band I think of is like Green Day.
My Chemical
Yeah.
Romance.
Green Day, My Chemical, MCE, Fall Out Boy, bands like that. You get that they have that sort of feel to them. But then it's after dinner. Scott had said, "Oh, I'm gonna go see, you know, I was gonna be out anyway. I was gonna go out and I was gonna go look and, you know, his man crush, although for him it was just his crush, Lucas Lee. He's like, I'm gonna go catch it.
No.
Lucas Lee is filming filming this movie over here, so I'm gonna be over here. If your date falls through, come join me.
Right.
Or oh no, I think his words were when your date, not if.
It's when.
When your date falls through, come join me.
Yeah.
And so, Scott sings the song and he's like, and then she mentions his haircut. And so he like throws on a hat and he's like, did you just throw on a hat? Because he's like, no, let's go for a walk.
Yeah, and then like it goes into this little monologue of how he had the worst cut of his life like a year ago, and now
right
he
before
cuts his
the big
own
breakup.
hair.
Yeah. So it's like he blames the haircut. And that's not the only time you see that happen of him, like of somebody mentioning his hair and him immediately throwing a hat on.
Yeah.
So he seems to be really self-conscious about that. And once again, I think it's all it's just this movie's idea of he's getting past one relationship and going into another. It definitely has a very emo theme to this.
Well, because his hair's too shaggy.
Yeah. Now that's what Envy will mention to him later on.
Oh yeah.
But then, so they go to this movie scene, and then Lucas Lee pops up, and you see Scott and Ramona go and stand by Wallace, and they shoot the scene. And then during the scene, Lucas Lee actually calls out Scott, like in the middle of filming, calls out Scott and is like, he calls out Scott and he then gets into this fight, and all of a sudden he gets in, they get into the fight. Ramona disappears, and once again, now he, of course, before the fight, we get the whole monologue, and then we get Ramona's, this is what this is what happened, and all that stuff. And then we get into the fight, and I love sort of the creative way he gets into this sort of, I'm not going to be able to outfight him, so I'm going to outsmart him. And he knows that he likes skateboards, and so he goes, okay, can you do a grindy thing down this rail? He's like, I'm not that stupid. This is too steep. He's like, but there's girls watching. And then you see, Lucas turn around and is like, oh, yeah, there are.
Good
he's
evening,
like,
Kelsey. Sorry, I didn't mean to say, my cousin said hello, so good evening, Kelsey.
And so, then he does the grind down the rail, and you see more points. And once again, it's this idea of you're playing a video game. And they did end up making this into a video game, of course, of which I've played. And it plays off this idea you have to beat the whole game in one life.
Right.
You don't get any restarts. You have to play the whole game and beat all 7 X's in one life. You know. And when we move from this scene, we kind of see Ramona disappear. And Scott's like, I don't know why. Why isn't she answering my calls? And this is when envy comes in even more. This is when we finally see envy and what kind of spell she has on Scott, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about her that he just can't seem to get over. Like I know it was like a really bad breakup, but part of me wondered like what is it about her that Scott's like head over heels still about her, like how you mentioned like he's under her spell.
Yeah. And we don't know why. We don't actually learn much. We don't really learn much about their relationship and what their relationship was. I mean, we learn about all of Ramona's, but we don't actually learn about Scott and Envy's relationship. Yeah, but then we get into the next sort of well, it's not the next battle, yeah, because leading up to that, you get Envy and that you get Scott ordering a coffee because he's having this breakdown. He goes into the coffee shop to meet with his sister, and then he's his sister leaves, somehow getting out the door without passing Scott.
Right. And
With
she's like, sorry, gotta go.
Yeah. And then he's met with Julie, which is where he goes, like, is there anywhere you don't work? And she's just like, it's called a job. But he's having sort of this breakdown. Ramona shows up and, apologizes and all that. And then you see Envy. And you sort of get this, he's just like, oh, and she's like, okay, we're gonna put you on the guest list, and says, come to my secret show or whatever. And it was while he was walking to the coffee shop, though, is when we meet another one of the exes, the girl, who is a very interesting character in and of herself. And but Scott's just like, I'm not gonna do this right now. Just leave me alone. And she's like, fine, but next time, we're gonna fight. And so we see that after the coffee shop. And they end up going to this show with Envy Adams. And they when they go to the show with Envy, that's when they meet Envy's new boyfriend, Todd, who ends up being one of Ramona's exes, Todd. Once again, we get the monologue, we get get the same old monologue, we get the whole background story of Ramona and Todd. And this is where we get into, I think, the most interesting of the fights with the vegan powers.
Right?
It's always with the vegan powers. And it does seem like a lot of these later so-called bosses, he never beats them by brute strength.
Right.
He always outsmarts them in one way or another. And Todd was no different. He gets him to drink the
half and half.
half and half
Yeah.
coffee, which brings the vegan police who take his vegan powers away, and then he just headbutts Todd. And I'm just sitting there going, what just happened here? And so it was really weird. But then after Todd, they go to the after party.
Aldo's calling out, so I had pulled up. Sam's watching a movie right now. I can see it.
No, I'm not. That's the stream, Lou. But then you have the after party, which is when the girl X shows back up again, and Ramona ends up helping him fight this girl X. And when they defeat her, and she's the weirdest character. I think she's the weirdest of all the X's. Even weirder than the Indian guy. And the Indian and Matthew Patel, he was weird. But I think this is the only one where they don't really go into any big explanation of, oh, this is how we met. We really don't get that.
No.
And so
I thought it was cheesy to have like two guys show up and they got like green lasers and they're taking the vegan out of them. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, they took the vegan powers away from him. Yeah, but so him and Ramona fight the next X, defeat her in a very interesting of manners. And so I was reading the comments. And Scott just feels like, oh, we just aired our dirty laundry out for everybody to see. And that's when you kind of get the feeling of, oh, did they just break up? Did Scott become, as Ramona called, oh, you're just another X.
Right.
And I think that is where we finally see Scott sort of come to his senses, or start to come to his senses. Because after that, then they go to the next battle where G-Man or Gideon is there. And Scott sees Gideon with Ramona. And here's where we realize why she was kind of skeptical of Scott being in a band. Because her ex-boyfriend was a record label, a record producer, who was kind of a jerk. But now she's just, now we see Ramona and she's totally obsessed with Gideon. It's like she didn't even care for Scott in the beginning. And it was at this sort of Battle of the Bands competition where yet again we see another X battle, and it's between two twin brothers who are in the competing band, and they have literally the Battle of the Bands, where these weird holograms. I guess that would be the best way to describe them. I don't know how you guys would describe them, but the holograms that come out as they're playing the music. You have the dragon versus. It's almost like Godzilla versus King Kong. I really feel like that's what they were going for.
It was definitely weird.
And so they're fighting based off of the music and where the crowd is facing, and they used the term, they blew the roof off of this place literally. because they had the other band play this note, and it literally there goes the roof.
Yeah.
And they just look up and like, they literally blew the roof off this place. And I just like, they really went there. Okay. Well, this movie's been full of cheesy jokes up to this point, so why not another one?
Was the whole movie a cheesy joke? I'm sorry, but
To some people, yes, it was. But then we get into the sort of the meat and potatoes of the movie, in my opinion. We have Scott go out, chase after Ramona, because he's like, I need to go get her back. I messed up. And he sort of, like I said, this is, after she's like, oh, you're just going to be another ex, I think it really clicked for him. I need a change. And between now and the end of the movie, we see a completely different Scott. Almost. And so he goes chase after Gideon, and she leaves with Gideon. He's out of the band now because Gideon signed a label with them, but he refused to sign, and and so young Neil took his place.
Yep.
And now he's just Neil. And so we see Scott finish up and just sort of leave the band. Now he's on his own again. And this is when we see Wallace sort of go, and I'm going to need you to leave now. I was kind of counting on you and Ramona working out so that you'd move out type of thing. And you're like, well, some roommate he is.
I mean,
But
I've done it before. No
Not
names will
wrong.
be mentioned on this show, but I've done that to somebody.
And so this one really is like, okay, I'm going to go get her. And he ends up, barging into Gideon's little show, theater place, with the most random of passwords, which I think were like stupid. It's like, what's the password?
Whatever.
Okay, you can go.
But then they rewind that whole scene, and he doesn't even say the password. He just like pushes him and stuff like.
So, and then. Sorry, messaging somebody the link to the show. My girlfriend's gonna join up in the chat. Maybe we'll see if she can find it on Facebook. And so now we have, Scott barging in there with the most random of passwords, and now he's at the final boss. But he had one last hallucination, where he had. Where he talked to Ramona and he's like, I don't get it. And she's rubbing the back of the neck. And you get the sense that, okay, something's going on with Ramona. There's a reason why she's not able to just walk away from Gideon. And he also sort of gets this extra life. Once again, playing into the video game. And so when he gets there, he goes up against Gideon. You see Knives come out, and Knives starts fighting Ramona because Knives thinks that Ramona stole Scott from him or from her, and so they get in a fight. And so you have two fights going. They start getting in a fight, and now we have two fights going on, and then we see Scott get quote unquote killed. He pulls out it was a sword. It was the power of love. He earned, because he admits to both girls, oh, I'm sorry, I cheated on you guys. This is what happened. And he's like, oh, power of love. I got a sword now. Which is weird, but once again, video game pulls it out of his chest.
There you go, Sam. She found the chat. Hello, Mariah. Thanks for dropping in.
Hey, Mariah.
Hi, Brock. Welcome to the show.
No pressure,
Where
Sam.
we are
No
we are talking about one of I know your least favorite movies. She doesn't like it either. And I know that she means a weird movie. But yeah. So welcome. But we are at the tail end of the movie. We are at the tail end of the movie. Scott has just died. Scott pulls out the power of love sword. And we see Scott fighting Gideon.
Mm.
And while he's fighting Gideon, he's fighting with the power of love, and he loses, and he can't do anything.
Right.
Then he sort of wakes up and once again has another hallucination, and he comes back. He's like, okay, I'm going to do it again. And you sort of get that, oh, here's the save point. Once again, it's that video game feel.
The video game, yeah.
And I'm restarting from my last save point or my last checkpoint. And so once again, he marches out, goes through all the security guards, marches in. But this time he tells Knives, okay, Knives, come out. I know you're there. Don't attack. It was my fault.
Right, like he tries to make it right instead of like, oh, I'm just gonna push the blame away.
Yeah, instead of saying, well, technically, I broke up with you and then I dated you, but
it was the first time that you actually see Scott being sure of himself and being his true self, like you finally see him step out of that, well, I'm going to be reliant on others. Instead, he's taking charge and like, no, this is my fault.
But he, it's after he admits this, and then he goes to fight Gideon, and he admits like, no, I'm not fighting you for her, I'm fighting you for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he gets that, and that's when we really see this sort of change in Scott of we're going to, I'm going to, fight you for me because she has nothing to do. I'm fighting you because I need to fight you, not because she needs me to fight you. Mm. And so that's when you see sort of he gets the self-respect, and that's where we see the end of the movie. Scott defeats the final boss, and when and all the coins, and I find it, I love the part where he's scooping. They're all like scooping up all the money, because Steven's like, wait, we're still getting paid, right?
Mm.
And they just look at him like, no, dude, we're not getting paid. He's like, oh, crud, and starts scooping up all this money into all these coins into his shirt. And then they leave, and it's as they leave, that you're met with the real final boss, Nigga Scott.
Wait. Did you say Mega or Evil Scott? Well, he looked pretty demonic to me. I'm not gonna lie.
He did. But I think this is just another side of Scott, and this is where we see, you see Ramona and Knives. They're like, oh, we'll fight with you, and he's like, no, I need to do this on my own. And, and then they go outside, and you see them talking, and then Scott and Nega Scott come out, side by side, laughing and talking with each other. And you're just like, wait, what? But that's, I think, the part where it's sort of signifying he's accepted who he is, bad things and all.
Hmm.
And so now he's really able to be himself. Now he's happy. The old breakup doesn't matter anymore. He's realized what kind of friends he has. He's realized how his actions have affected others. And then you see him go off into the doorway, the magical doorway with Ramona.
See, I can understand that part because, they get back together, but what happens after that? The movie just ends.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but that's it. That it just sort of ends. So
And I think they did that so you're left to like your imagination. Like, how do you think the story end? You know?
Oh, I hate movies like that. It's BS. I want a happy ending with a sad ending. Just give me closure.
Yeah.
well, once again, I think it's comic books. I think they go into this. I think those doorways are sort of portals to alternate areas. And other places where I've looked, um, other articles I've read, there are some, um, there are some parts where, or some universes, where him and Ramona don't get back together, and he continues to stay with Knives. Um, there's, uh, alternate universes where he doesn't get with either of them because he never changes. So you get a whole bunch of different universes when you get into the comic books too.
Oh, my cousin
So.
agrees with me. If you read my cousin's comment, thank you, Kelly. She agrees. She wants the closure. We need the closure.
Hmm.
Because if not, I'm gonna say, okay, why didn't they make a sequel to that?
Yeah. Well, that was all there was to the comic books too. So, but
No, I call it bogus and BS. I'm sticking to it.
But so we have that very weird movie
Very weird an understatement, Sam. Sorry.
that I enjoy, and I will too. I spent many nights just okay, I'm ready for bed. I'm just gonna put on a movie and pass out to it, and that's the movie I choose. Scott Pilgrim, and
Now,
I
are we
usually
talking
pass
about
out.
that recreational activity you were talking about last night in the messages, or what? I can
What?
understand what we were talking about last night.
Let me pull up the message.
I only get myself a bad rep, but puff pass. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, way back when.
Yeah. I'm just saying though. Is that why you like that movie so much?
No. It was part of it way back when, but
you get the much you really bad. Yeah, just have a little entertainment.
No, I would still pass out to it. I'd still pass out to it. But yeah, so it was a good movie, in my opinion. I know not everybody agreed with me, but I'm glad that you guys watched it at least for the sake of this show. At least you can say you watched it. So, I mean, any final thoughts?
I mean, I got a 7.5 and an 82% Rotten Tomatoes, though. I guess the critics liked it. I'm definitely not a critic. I know Andrew is not either, but like, would I watch it again? No.
How about you, Andrew? Would you watch it again on a rainy day?
Probably not, but I mean, my husband does like it, so if it's
Maybe.
on, like, I might watch it in the background, but like, I won't physically like sit down and watch it.
Not a movie you would choose. Well, that's all I got.
I mean, I'm waiting to see if Mike Russo pops in because he agreed with me. The movie sucked. Like, I didn't say it sucked, but he didn't like the movie at all. Sorry for the waste of 2 hours of watching it. Well, Mariah, I accept your apology.
I ain't apologizing. I don't see it as a waste of time.
Well, at least somebody understands how me and Andrew feel, okay?
But that wraps it up for me. John, do you have anything else?
I mean, it's Friday night, man. We got movies to talk about.
Well,
I know Andrew is excited for next week. I won't be here next week, but Andrew and Mr. Mike Russo are going to have a nice debate about Star Wars. I know that, right, Andrew?
Mm-hmm.
I know she's really looking forward to that. I'm sure Mike is as well, but
Mike's really excited. I can vouch for that.
Well,
he's been looking forward to Star Wars night since we announced movie nights.
Well,
and that's why we didn't do it tonight, because he was supposed to not be able to come on. Now he might pop in a couple minutes. I don't know where he's at.
Yeah, I don't know what Mariah's schedule will be next week, but if she's working Friday evening, I will definitely be here for Star Wars night.
Well, now if she's tuning in, she can just hop in the show and hang out with us.
That is
Yeah.
true.
Lou,
Lou,
what Star Wars? A movie that traumatized me as a kid. You should be Disney newer movies versus older. Oh, that's a good one. See? First night here, and she's already giving out good ideas, Sam. She's a keeper.
I've been saying that for 4 years.
Well, I haven't personally met her. I said hello and passing her on the phone, but she really can't hear me. But
Yep, that is true.
she's popped in the chat, so there you
That
go. My
is
cousin
true.
said, let's talk comedies. What's your favorite comedy movie?
I think we had this conversation before.
Maybe she wasn't here.
True.
Don't be mean to my cousin. I will jump through his computer.
No, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying I think we have, and I'm trying to remember what I answered the last time. What did I say my favorite comedy movie was?
I can't remember. I'm going to say Wedding Crashers. This is fresh on my mind right now.
No, definitely not Wedding Crashers.
Oh, you know you're off by them.
Not a big fan of Wedding Crashers.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Scott Pilgrim versus the World. How do you think I feel?
You know what? I accept it because I am very tolerant of other people's views.
And the thing that I like about the movie night is we're gonna discuss movies that aren't our forte. Like, Halloween is gonna be horror. I don't do horror, but
Halloween's gonna be
I
fun.
was like, if I'm here, I'll be on to discuss. But
Oh,
like that's the joy of it. Like we're all gonna have movies that we don't agree on, and that's the fun of it. That's what makes it engaging and fun. And, like we all have our views.
Oh, she's trying to help you. It's not something. Yeah. And I think it's 51st Dates is one of my favorite. I love that one.
Lou, the Fast and the Furious movies, great comedy.
Yes, they are. At least the newer ones are.
I think I stopped watching after 6, 7. I don't know. I lost count.
Oh, I've seen them all, including the spinoffs. Let's see. I think Adam Sandler movie wise, I think I'd have to go. Probably, I think 51st Dates. That's my favorite Adam Sandler movie.
Good one. Matt says, "Dude, where's my car?" That's a classic. Bridesmaids and The Proposal. That's two good ones. Just lots of driving. Never seen one of them.
Oh, you've seen Adam Sandler movies, babe.
Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, The Water
Happy
Boy.
Gilmore. I think Happy Gilmore is probably one of his best works of art.
I mean, I just watched Billy Madison again the other night too. Bison. Oh no, it's Bicentennial. Robin Williams. I guess that counts as a comedy. Bicentennial Man.
I think any Robin Williams movie automatically constitutes a comedy movie.
Not true. Not
true.
No, I know
it's not.
Dead Poet Society was not comedy.
Dead Poet Society, Good Will Hunting. Yeah.
My favorite is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Well, I'm
surprised the Fast and Furious movies. Okay.
But How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, you haven't lost Sam yet, so might need to rewrite that movie.
Whoa. Come on now.
The Youngest Yard, Click. Click's another good one. Lower Nicky.
Click is a weird one, but I think we all go through those days where we wish we had that remote.
I don't. I'd be terrified as hell to have that remote. Go back. Even though if I could go back, I'm not even going to say it. Everyone, moving on. I don't know if any of my bosses are watching, so I'm just going to be good.
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball is a good one.
So Dodgeball.
Goon.
Goon's a good one. Sean William Scott. Now, okay, this is one of the comedies. What American Pie movie do you guys like the most?
Never seen them.
Bandcamp.
You've never seen any of the 8 American Pie movies?
Bandcamp. I haven't seen one of those since like college, but Bandcamp. That was my favorite. And I'll say it again, Bandcamp.
Did you go to band camp, Sam?
I did.
8 years of it.
All right. Well, since you guys went to band camp, let me hear some band camp stories.
Oh, there were none.
Yeah, there were none. Bandcamp.
Because Bandcamp was not Bandcamp. Bandcamp is not the way they portray Bandcamp in that movie. I don't know where they got the idea of Bandcamp being like that.
This one time at
But because they're saying is what happens at Bandcamp stays at Bandcamp. I've always corrected people. No, that's not how the saying goes. It's what happens on the band bus stays on the band bus.
Well, Mariah says Dodgeball is gross and perverted, in her opinion.
It is.
I guess you can say that. It's unorthodox, is the way I would put it.
But
They stay together. I've never seen that one.
so okay. Well, I'm gonna hop off here.
Come on, we're having a good conversation now. You want to talk about
Mariah's going to bed.
She's hanging out in the chat. She's not going to bed.
She just texted me she's going to bed. She's only hanging out in chat because I haven't called her yet. So
Oh, she hasn't said goodnight to everybody yet, so she doesn't want to leave. You're making her leave, Sam. Stop being that way. Mariah, you're welcome in the chat anytime you want. I don't care if Sam's on the show or not.
See, I'm in bed right now. Haha.
Well,
So
my invitation stands. She's allowed in this chat anytime, even if you're not on the show.
okay. I'll make sure she knows that. So
I hope, well, she's still in chat, so she knows.
yeah, she should not. But you guys have a great night, and if you guys are still on later, I'll hop back in. So, but
You're welcome, Mariah. Have a good night. Don't let Sam bore you to death. Change your mind, come back and hang out. It's okay.
you guys have a good night, Andrea. It was great being able to. It was great being able to join you, John. Like always, it's always a pleasure.
Thanks
and
for this
I will-
discussion. Like it
Yeah.
was fun. Like I mean, me and John might have not been the biggest fans of the movie, but it was fun.
May the force be with you too, Matthew. So,
Night, Mariah. Thanks for joining.
Good night.
and everybody in chat, good night, including you, Lou.
Bye, Sam. Peace and quiet. Now we can actually talk about movies we like.
I don't know if I have the energy. I'm getting tired.
I give Sam credit. He went on an hour and 15 minutes about a movie that I didn't like. You didn't like. Hey, he didn't even take a breath.
He was just go, and that's what makes it fun. Like when we discuss movies that we're into, and you know, it's considered our favorites. Like you can just go nonstop.
Well, who's your favorite co-host right here? Mr. Mike Russo.
What's going on, man?
We just kick one out, we get another one. Here we go.
Get Sam. Well, Sam shouldn't even be in here anymore.
Have you been looking in the chat?
No, I have not.
Man, my man went off for about an hour and 10 minutes about Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It was great.
Sam did?
Yep.
Garbage.
That's what I was hoping you would pop in the middle of his whole spiel. And just,
I would have just devastated him. I don't want to do that to him.
well, that's all right. We already had Lou saying he was watching a movie while we were streaming, so he'd be fresh up to date on all the points. The man went off, okay?
Well, secretly, unknown to Sam, I actually watched the movie today. He doesn't think I ever watched it. So what I was going to do was just make comments that sounded like I knew something so it confused Sam.
Well, that's the best part.
I'll be honest with you. I finished that movie, and I'm just like, the only part I like was with Chris Pine. That was it.
Yeah.
He was incredible. I was laughing the whole time. But the other part of it, I don't know. It was all right.
I couldn't get into it. I watched it last night. I mean, granted, it was 12 o'clock at night when I watched it, but still, I watched it. I was like, what am I watching? And then how it ended, it was like, that's even worse.
The ending is, it's fine for what it was, I guess, the ending. But I mean, you know, I just, no, sorry.
No,
that's why I rented it. That's why I rented it. Didn't own it.
See, I rented it, but luckily I had a free movie code. I didn't have to pay for it.
Oh, there you go.
Why did Sam go?
His we had his girlfriend in chat for a little bit.
Don't say it. Oh, I knew it.
No, she was actually chatting in chat. She was interacting, but she was waiting for him to fall asleep. He might pop back in. We don't know. But we let him off the hook because she was in bed waiting for him to call. So
but this is okay. No, this was his movie choice. What the hell?
No, well, you have to. No, Mike. Let me tell you, he talked for an hour and 10 minutes straight. I don't think me and
yeah, I was like without really breathing. Like we got in a few. Yep.
Okay. Well,
I'm glad. But
I
would have been just absolutely disruptive. I would have been disruptive big time.
Oh, I would have loved it. I would have absolutely loved it because then I would have been able to say something.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was not here. I apologize.
Sorry.
Well, I previewed your next week's show since you guys are doing Star Wars, and I won't be here. But
Andrea, by the way, I forgot to tell you, it's absolutely fantastic to see you again.
You too, Mike. Appreciate seeing you.
Thank you so much. So, other than my worshipness of worshiping Andrea, what else is like? What are you guys talking about now?
Well,
they were getting some movie suggestions on like what kind of movies we should cover next, or what movies they want to see us to cover.
And what is that? Let me see if I can pull this one up. Hold on. Hold on. There you go. Sam's girlfriend actually suggested this one, that we should do Disney new movies versus older. So I'm guessing what she meant by that is like the old animated versions to the now newer days live action movies.
And try to fit that into 2 hours? All right. That's a lot of stuff.
Well, you don't have to do all Disney movies. All of them one night, but
look, you already dropped from 8 to 6 since I joined, and everybody thinks that I'm funny and they're leaving.
No, people were coming and going. We were actually up to 11 at one point.
Oh, it's awesome. No, it's awesome. With Andrew here, you're going to have unlimited.
I agree more.
Also, so I won't sign off on any movie unless Andrea agrees. Even if I have a pick, she's got to sign off on it.
All right.
Well, I know you guys are doing Star Wars next week. That's already been
agreed. I just have this level of respect for Andrews already, and I've only known her a short time. So it's just like I got to run everything by her. It makes me more comfortable.
Well, just don't tell her what to do because you'll get the same message every time. Probably. You're not her dad.
What do you say? Respect level up here. Not going to come down and filter into Andrew's world.
I know John made a comment and he goes, if you're lurking in the chat, say hello. So I kicked back and said, you're not my dad.
But he couldn't say hello.
What's up, Curtis? What's going on? Sorry, I'm late. I missed the opportunity to troll Sam.
Oh, you have plenty more. Trust me.
It's all right.
Sam said he might join us on Star Wars Night, but he doesn't know yet.
Well, yeah, when are we doing that one?
Next Friday, because I won't be here.
Oh, that's right. Next Friday we're doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
You're running your show.
Me, but Andrea's here.
I mean, if you want me to...
you'll run the stream, like you'll turn it on, but I can run the show.
Look at Andrea. Yeah, you can turn it on, but just
you turn it on, but I got you, Mike.
Because Andrea, I'm going to be off point all the time. Without you and your insight, I'm going to be lost.
Watch me not even be here next week. That would be so sad.
Andrea, what are you going to do? Leave you alone in here?
I won't be here the next Friday, though. So I'll be here the 7th, but I won't be able to be here on the 14th.
Well, you got to do Star Wars next week because I won't be here. So that can be your awesome Star Wars show that I don't have to be a part of.
And then when I'm not here on the 14th, you can go do some horror movie that I don't like.
That's right. That you don't like. Matt, I didn't see the new one. I've only seen the first two.
I did.
The first 3. Is it worth it?
I don't know. So I'm not really big into Matrix, so when I watched the new one, I personally thought it was decent. Like, I'm like, hey, this isn't too bad. And then my husband, who's like really big into Matrix, is like, meh.
Really? Huh?
What?
Wait. What did I lose? Wait, I'm losing something here. What?
The new
Oh,
Matrix movie.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the new Matrix. So, okay, so go on, Andrew. I'm sorry. I got lost my train of thought with that. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. That was about it. Like, it was just meh. But like me personally, like, I mean, I've seen all the Matrix, and then when I saw the new one, I was like, I thought it was decent.
Does it build on that? I didn't like the ending very much of 3, but does it build off of that ending or no?
Yes.
Okay, so I wouldn't be totally lost watching it.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't seen the new one. I haven't watched the third one in about 2 years, so might have to watch the third one before I watch the new one.
I'm gonna have to watch all 3 of them again.
I have them all on DVD when everyone come over, buddy.
So do I.
It'll part of my extensive movie collection.
Do you want to do? Okay, so then when do you want to do Matrix? Like now that he brought it up, should we do Matrix?
You guys can do Matrix on the 14th, so unless you guys wanted to do horror, since I won't be here.
Horror movies we're saving specifically for Halloween night. We're doing a special Halloween night. I'm going to be doing it from my friend's front yard. He'll have his whole house decorated in the background. We're doing a special horror night on Halloween night. So
the 14th.
The 14th? No, the 31st.
No, for the Matrix, the 14th.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I guess we can do Matrix 14th. Yeah.
My sister, decided she's gonna have a baby, and we're doing her baby shower the 15th, but I'm leaving the 14th. So, unfortunately, y'all have to do movie night without me that day.
That's next Friday, right? Or
the following, yeah.
Following Friday.
So
Okay,
I got it written down. We're doing Star Wars the 7th and Matrix the 14th. So then you guys cover the 21st and 28th.
There you go, Matt. We're doing this just for you, buddy.
The 21st, that's 3 days before my birthday.
Oh shit! Let me write that down.
The 24th.
October 24th.
I gotta make sure I get these things out to Andrew on time.
Yeah, Sam put my birthday in his calendar.
It's in my memory bank, I promise.
Who does? John has it?
Sam put my birthday in his calendar so he didn't forget to wish me a happy birthday.
We can put Disney in there one night.
Let's do Disney that night. I like Disney.
Yeah, Disney that's gonna be big. Andrew's really gonna have to keep us on point.
I would say, what if we did Disney the 21st and the 28th? That way it's back to back, and then we can cover, because that's a lot to cover.
There you go, double guns. Perfect. Great solution.
There you go, John. October is handled.
There you go.
Done.
Yeah, Lou, don't forget my birthday.
Yep, you forget, Andrew's going to disown you.
Not going to forget.
I hope not. I won't hear the end of it. I forgot my birthday.
I won't forget a birthday. No.
I'll come after John. I'll be like, John, Mike forgot my birthday.
And I'll be like,
it's all your fault, John. All your fault.
Like
you didn't remind him.
You didn't buy us any. Don't worry, Andrew. I got good gifts on your way to you.
I don't know your birthday, Lalo. I really don't.
She doesn't even know my birthday.
What 16th?
Who's that?
I don't know. He said that she doesn't know his birthday. I was like, that's a random day.
Oh, watch it be his actual birthday.
That would be funny.
I mean, if it is, wow. Kudos to me.
That's funny, dude. I'm gonna come to you for lucky numbers and everything.
There was one day, Lalo, back when me, Lalo, and John were moderators on a stream, Lalo came in and told everybody it was my birthday when it wasn't my birthday, and everybody believed him. And they celebrated my birthday on just some random day of the year, and I'm like, it's not my birthday, but okay.
Did you play along?
No, I'm like, it's not my birthday, but okay.
That's funny.
Birthday coming up. That doesn't help, Lou.
Hold on.
Birthday is coming up. You mean like tomorrow, Lala?
Oh no, it's coming up in
I don't know, just look on his
a week and a
Facebook.
half. A week and a half, Lalo.
So a week and a half today is what? September 30th. So that would be what? October 8th? No.
Andrew, is your birth date in your Facebook profile?
It should be.
Cool. That way I don't forget the date.
Mike, you really think I'm going to forget, Mike? Are you calling me?
No,
old?
I don't think you will, but I don't want to be, I already got Andrew's address and everything, so it's perfect. Husband of Andrew, don't kill me. I'm married. Look, ring. Not hitting on your wife. There we go.
Yeah,
It's
11th, okay. So,
Yeah, I don't know what, Andrew, I'll be honest with you. We only talked, a few times, but man, I'm telling you, something about you being friends with you is just so cool. So cool.
Well, she is cool. She sent me some movie posters.
I know.
Like how you know.
She treats me like I've known her 10 years. I love it.
I know. I feel like I've known John a lot longer than I have. Like we're looking back, and I'm like, have we really only known each other for 2 years? Like it feels like it's been so much longer.
Oh, absolutely.
Andrew, I'm serious. I'm not trying to suck up to you. Seriously, you're an easy person to like. I'll tell you.
I appreciate it.
Not a
He
problem.
said the same thing about me.
I do love you, John. You're definitely. I told you, John's one of the best people, a person, a guy, whatever you want to say, I've met in probably 50 years.
Yeah.
I probably have since I was 2 years old, John. Haven't found, yeah.
I need a tissue.
That was great.
He's just saying that because I hope this team win this week in bowling.
Oh,
We
yeah?
did go undefeated. Yeah, we did.
All right on.
You guys seen this? I'll pop it up here. Lalo, I love you too. I do love you, Lalo. I do. I'm sorry.
Doolittle with Robert Downey Jr. That was a good one. That was a really fun movie.
I haven't seen that one.
I don't remember. I thought Doolittle was with Eddie Murphy.
They remade it with Robert Downey Jr. and it.
What was this?
Last year or no, a couple years ago. Maybe 3 years ago, 2019. Yeah, right before COVID.
Wow,
I remember like me and my friends went to the movies and there wasn't very many people in the movies because COVID had just like happened, but like it wasn't like everybody was in lockdown yet.
Gotcha.
But they portrayed Doolittle as like this crazy old guy who's like weird, and I mean it was a lot of fun. Like I liked the storyline of that Doolittle, but I really liked Eddie Murphy's Doolittle as well.
So it was compared to each other. Which one do you prefer, the old one?
I do. Like the new one was fun. It really was, but I have to go back to the Eddie Murphy version.
No, the original Doolittle or the sequel to Dr. Doolittle? Because remember, they made a sequel to the original.
Oh, that's right. Those ones were also based on, yeah, that's true.
The second one, it was like a family vacation, and then first one, I don't know. Out of the two of them, I probably have to say the first one was a lot better.
I liked the first one for sure.
I have two questions just popped in my head. The first is Disney's, we're going to base this thing on only animated, right? But in every category or not? Because like there's animated Star Wars stuff.
Right.
Oh, wait. That might be on Disney Plus. Wait, I don't know if that is. Well, you guys are, I'm trying to, like, I don't think I'm saying it right. Like I want the movies that are just of that animation, not like other like modern animation. Like anything to do with Marvel, Star Wars, that stuff shouldn't be in there. That's
we can break it down off stream more in our discussions and figure that out a little bit more, because like you do make a fair point. Like there's all those animated Star Wars movies. There's What do you thought, Andrew? What do you think about doing it like first part? Use the word first part of the millennium, but like what I mean is do one where we stop at a certain year and then continue with that on the next night or next Friday with all the rest of that, taken from that year to the end, or no? That would work. I think that would cover a lot. Like if we did just like Disney animated, and then we can do later in like November or something where we do like the live actions or something.
Well, you're doing two different nights, so you could do the animated ones the one night, and then the following week you could go shoot back and do the live action ones back to back.
We'll see. We'll
There's
see.
a lot to cover.
There's
in animated
there's a
stuff.
lot of Disney animated movies.
Oh, just I'll have to let my friend Morgan know because I'm sure she'll chime in the chat all night with you guys.
Has Morgan been here tonight?
She
She
was
popped in for a
here.
little bit.
Yeah, she was here earlier.
She might still be looking. People have been looking in the chat. But then again, Sam.
I don't know. I mean, what were his points? What did he say about it? That he loves it and that's it?
Yeah.
He went like very detailed into the
Oh, come on, Morgan, jerk. Why you gonna be like that to me?
Oh man. I know, Mike. You might be replaced as the best co-host. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm no longer the best favorite. Andrew, I'm using that second. Andrew's tired.
Yeah, Lalo. Lalo's not lying. He basically read the script of the whole entire movie. So
that's what he did.
Right? That's what it felt like. I mean, like, it was pretty much given like you didn't even have to watch the movie. You just had to listen to Sam talk, and you knew what was going on.
It's just. It's fresh in my head because I watched it today, but I just don't. He obviously found something in there he loves. I guess I just did not find that.
Like I said, the pop fast. That's what he liked. One of those movies you have to watch, don't. Okay.
Gotcha.
But no, I told Sam like it might not have been mine and John's favorite movie, but like that's why I love movie night because we're all not gonna agree on the discussion.
Right.
Like John doesn't like Star Wars. I mean, he isn't conveniently not going to be here next Friday because we're doing Star Wars. He had prior arrangements, But even if he was available, I'm sure John would still sit and try to have a discussion on a movie that he does not like.
I've been the second Star Wars trivia on Tuesday night. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
So. I was there at the beginning, and then my kids decided they needed their mom, and then I fell asleep shortly after because kids are exhausting.
Have kids, they say. It'll be fun.
Speaking of, I think I am going to get off here in a minute so I can go to bed. I mean, it is Friday night, but I don't know. Work's been exhausting. Like, it's been stressful, so it's been, like, wearing me out.
That's all right. I understand. I understand totally.
I completely get it.
I just want to pet. Oh, he wants a pet Ewok. Not he wants to pet an Ewok.
Who's Ewok?
They're cute little creatures in Star Wars.
Oh, God, John, you just made me cringe when you said that.
I haven't watched it. How many times do I got to tell you that?
Yeah, Matt, you're 100% correct. Star Wars is definitely a part of Disney now.
Oh, boy.
So
you guys might want to start the show at like 7 o'clock next Friday and go for about 4 hours.
4 hours?
We might, honestly. Like, there's a lot to cover in Star Wars, and it's such a fun topic.
I'll make sure.
I think my wedding's done by like 10 o'clock, so if I do jump in, it would be like 10 or 11 o'clock.
John will just come in and like we've been live for 4 hours, and
I'm gonna buy you an Ewok, John.
You buy me anything Star Wars, I'll tell you, make sure you have the receipt. See, Morgan agrees with me. Star Wars is garbage.
Oh, please, Morgan. First off, you're rude to me. Second, you're trashing one of the best franchises ever.
Luke, I am your father. No, my father's name Joe, sorry.
John, the fact that you don't like Star Wars is disturbing. Bye, Matt. It was good talking to you, buddy.
Yeah, Matt.
Bye,
You're the man, dude. Come for Star Wars. You're horrible, Morgan.
Yeah, do not talk about my best friend like that.
She has to know I'm kidding. She harasses me all the time. She hates me. That's fine. I love it. I still love you, Morgan. Don't hate me forever. No, I won't. You'll kick my ass. That's guaranteed. You will whoop my ass because my wife whoops my ass.
I'll do it for you, William. I'll throw him down bowling alley for you.
Let John handle your light work. Take me out.
All right, boys. I'm gonna get going.
Oh wait, I have a quick question. Andrew, are we supposed to not use your name anymore? Because I see Movie Queen. Would you rather be called that?
Oh no, you're fine. You can use my name.
All right, great
I
movie
just
queen.
I just thought I would change it up a little bit. I might have a new nickname every time.
Okay, that's
Okay.
cool.
Fine by me.
We'll see.
I mean, I can change Mike's for you if I actually want.
Not now
Outlaw.
though. That
Say
was-
good night. It was great to see you again, even though it was brief, Andrea.
You too. Well, we'll have all next Friday together, and it'll be fun.
I'll
Yep.
put it down. I'll put it down on my calendar.
There you go.
Alright.
I changed Mike's nickname for you.
What'd you change it to? Oh, there you go. There you go, Morgan. Check it out. Check my new name.
Is
Okay.
it dip? It's dips hit.
Dipset. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, good night, guys. Good night,
Night.
everybody
Night.
viewing. Thanks for chilling.
No, Andrea gets the too sweet thing.
Very fitting.
And now the most. Now
The
the
dynamic-
most.
The
Now the-
dynamic duo.
Yeah, just you and I now. We've lost the best part of movie night. Andrea, our host. Yeah, okay, whatever, Morgan. Jerk. Anyways, who's watching us still? Like I'm here. Most people sign off.
We got like Lalo, we got Morgan in here. I think my friend Kristen's looking in the chat. My cousin Kelsey was in here earlier.
And you guys let Sam just for an hour just say whatever he wanted.
He won't stop.
I don't know what he sees in that movie, but all right.
Yeah, I named you after your bowling team for you, buddy.
What?
I named you after your bowling team.
What, Mike's Mistakes? There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Team name. There's our team name.
No, you mean your team name. I'm just a sub.
You're still on this team.
So.
You're a rostered sub.
Oh boy.
You were on another roster, by the way. There's a big mistake. You were on Chuck's roster.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Chuck, the president of the league, saw. Well, I don't know why that was, but
Why?
no idea why.
But yeah, it looks like you guys got the month of October all covered. I'll take the month off.
Aren't you gonna? You'll be there for some of that. What do we
I'm
do in the What do you do in the Halloween one though?
When?
Yeah, you said we're gonna have a stream. I know live, but like, are we having a stream with discussions about horror movies?
Of course, Halloween night.
Can we just do one though?
No.
Or when we were talking about horror? Oh, never mind. Okay, cool.
I got the special intro for it and everything.
Oh, that's right. Wait, do you? Yeah, you showed it to me, right?
Yep, you won't pull that up. I will hurt you.
Okay. Not pulling it up.
Don't
Yeah.
do it, man.
I'm not going to do it. I'll not do it. To be a jerk.
There's only certain people that have seen that.
Well, it's a good one, so they're going to love it. Now,
Well,
if only I could get this to you, which I keep failing to do. This is supposed to be John's new toy, and I've yet to get it to him.
Well, you were supposed to bring it last night. Oh, I forgot. So I even said, all right, well, I'll just stop at the bone now. I forgot it yet.
I'm sorry, John.
If you want, if you're going to be home tomorrow, I'll stop by on my way home from work and personally get it from you.
Here we go.
No Mike Horror and Trivia Night.
Oh, wait, that's what we're doing?
Trivia Night is on Tuesday night. Halloween's on a Monday.
I don't know.
Oh, Trivia
Morgan-
Night.
Morgan might know more than me about something. I don't know.
That's a good one, too. Horror Trivia Night.
That's what she just said.
No, I'm so confused.
Well, that's fine. Yeah, we can do. That's a great idea, actually, Morgan.
No, that's what he
Oh,
remembered.
there you go. Oh, was that on? Yeah, it was on Trivia Night. Maybe that's what. Yeah, Morgan, you're probably right. That's probably what I. Yeah, you're probably right.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Thank you, Morgan.
But then, yeah, there you go. So since Halloween's on Monday, we're doing a special Friday night movie night on Halloween night, which is Monday. And then the following day, so our Trib Tues, we can do nothing but horror trivia on that Tuesday.
No, I understand, Morgan. I think I think my first one I did when I popped in late was to do the horror one. I think you're right. I just screwed it up.
I like that idea, though. We can do it like kind of back-to-back nights.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that'll be good. Now I remember.
Or we could do a special Trib Tues on Mischief Night, the 30th, which is the
Oh,
Saturday. Yeah.
Does he mean? Lalo? Do you mean do one, or do you mean we already did one? Because we already did it last Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know.
I mean, that show was a hit, if you ask me. There's a couple of little small little things we got tweaked, but I think trivia night went very well.
It did. For what I saw, it was really good.
And then
Really good.
Mondays we're gonna have your Russo's recap.
Oh, see, no, that's Lalo wants us to do this.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We can do the special Halloween show on the 31st, which is Monday, and then the next night we can just do nothing but a horror trivia night.
Okay. I don't have trivia for horror night. That's why we mix it up.
I mean, she's right to some degree, but I think you could probably find a lot of horror trivia.
Well, the way Sam showed it, Morgan, like there was, if you wrote in like horror, it came up with several lists of stuff to do for trivia. At least what he showed me.
I mean, Sam. Well, yeah, Sam does have run that website, so I'm sure we can figure something out. But
I think he's walked us through it after the broadcast, dude. I know exactly what to do.
Okay.
No, I mean Sam did a great job. No question, he ran that thing perfectly.
Some of them aren't even English. She's not lying. There are some horror movies that aren't in English. Like one of the best horror movies of all time.
And that is
It's called Victoria. It was actually filmed over in Spain. Creepy movie, but it was great. Or we could. A lot of us have Sam read scary stories.
play solo. What is she? Play solo player and go in. Hey, Kelsey. It was nice to see you for like 5 seconds, but
Well, she's been in here for a while.
Oh, no, I'd leave too if I was in here. I'm here. Time to go.
No, people are just probably getting tired. It's almost what? 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, depending where you're at.
Look at this. Look what Morgan said. That's fucking great. Swear jar. Look at, did you see it?
I did, yeah.
I put it up there.
I see it.
There's Kelsey saying goodbye, bye.
I know. I mean, I've been interacting on the chat on my phone, so.
That one's funny to me.
Yeah, I figured if you actually go on your main Facebook page and go on the show, you're still interacting as yourself. So instead of trying to comment as the basement show, I've been just looking in the chat, and then when someone comments, I can comment as myself.
I don't understand how the guests don't have their own name in here. That's weird that this software doesn't allow you to do that.
I don't know. I gotta sort of tweak some stuff, figure some stuff out.
Nah, you're doing fine.
I mean, people like it, so.
I mean, off a Chromebook, for God's sakes. A Chromebook.
Don't judge me.
No, it's amazing. They have very little power.
Hey,
even the newer ones, I mean, if you just, they're okay, but they're still not. Which we got to get you a good one, buddy.
Hey, why fix what's not broken?
Okay.
Just saying.
More power. That's what
I know. I know what you mean. I've been looking.
I have been looking as well, sir.
Appreciate that.
Well, I'm trying to. The thing is, I keep going. Never mind. I'll talk to you about the computer later.
Okay. So
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I'm just recapping the show. So we have Russo's recap. We're going to do Monday nights.
Right.
Tuesday's going to be Trip Tuesdays. Wednesdays we haven't really completely decided on yet. Thursday is a definite night off. And then Friday night is our movie night segment. I gotta get Saturdays off and running soon. And then Sundays off unless we have like a special live on location type thing. Like I did with the Washington Philadelphia football game type thing.
Okay.
So I mean that's what 5 solid nights of content. 6 once I get the Saturday the Saturday show going. That'll be what? 1, 2.
Here we go. Wait. This is what Morgan meant.
But I was saying earlier, something because who aren't in English, go play solo player games. Gotcha. I mean, but I also had a good idea that what we could try to do one night to make it really fun is have multiple people. How we did the fantasy football draft on here. See if I can get like say 7 or 8 people that would volunteer to be on camera, like how we are, and we can set up like a Jeopardy board, and then like ask the questions, and everybody has like a whiteboard, and then you like you write down your answers, and then you would flip your thing around like that, and then we can have someone keeping track of the scores that way too.
For what? The video game thing?
No, for the trivia.
Oh.
You know, I'm talking like you know how in Jeopardy, like when they're writing down the final Jeopardy answers,
Mhm.
do a trivia show like that where you have like say 6 or 7 people on stream with us, and they all have whiteboards or whatever.
Morgan, you are correct.
She's not lying. I don't know. I'm
That's-
just trying
Good.
because some people said it was lagging.
Yes. I heard that.
So if we can, I figure if we can actually just do like a live Jeopardy version game where you have multiple people on stream with us, it'd be fun. Something to try. Think about.
Yeah. No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, Morgan will be there for the Halloween show. Cause I'm doing her brother-in-law and my best friend's front yard over in Maple Shade. So,
Yeah, I think I'm going to broadcast from my neighbor's house.
hey, I mean, let's do it. I mean, if we can just both be live on location with the Halloween decorations in the back, I think it would be great.
Yeah, it's like, you know, how news reporters throw it back to each other.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be awesome.
So, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get Morgan to join us for a while now. So,
Look, Lalo wants to join too. Everybody.
yeah, Lalo's in for the trivia thing. So,
There we go. Let me make sure everybody sees that.
I'm sure everybody does. So,
It's funny.
I mean, I've been trying to get Morgan to come on here a lot just to like sit here and crack jokes on you like she always likes to do. But some people are camera shy. I mean, I didn't like being in front of a camera really. Still don't, but hey, show must go on.
You look fine, John.
Except for this giant pimple on my face.
Dude, look at the size of my nose. You kidding me? This Italian honker.
You got a nose. Look at mine. So, well, I don't know. You have anything else that you want to chit chat about tonight on here, or should we sign off for the night?
Not a camera shy thing.
Honey. I'm here. They got Lalo here to troll Sam. Like we got Morgan trolling Mike, and we got Lalo trolling Sam. And I'm sure someone's going to jump in and troll me one night. So,
Well, yeah, you might as well finish up unless you want to keep going. I got my daughter's soccer tomorrow, so I'm going to have to roll.
all right. Well, appreciate you hopping in.
No, I just wanted to come over and, you know, I was going to bug Sam, try to trick him. But yeah, I watched it and I just wasn't as impressed with it. But like I said, the best part is the 10 minutes that Chris Pine's in because he makes me laugh hysterically in that movie.
Yeah. Well, and like Andrea said, there's going to be movies that we all don't like and agree on, but that. Listen, I sit here in my comfy clothes and listen to the show. I'm by me more. We appreciate the support any way that you want to give it. I mean, Mike feels the same way, right?
I love Morgan. She's funny. I love getting blasted too. It's funny. I like getting roasted every night.
She can be a lot more brutal. I'm surprised she hasn't yet.
Yeah. Imagine my wife who has so much ammunition to use against me.
Bring her in the show one day. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, her and Morgan would just trash me the whole night. That'd be great.
I mean, we could put you dead center in the middle. Like, we could do like the triple lineup thing. Have Morgan on one side, your wife on another one, and you right in the middle. I'd pay for that. I mean, we could charge you an admission fee for that one. There you go, Morgan. I know you'd be down for that. Instead of doing a Sam roasting, we can just do a Mike Russo roasting.
I'm fine with that. Like, seriously, people want to roast me, get 20,000 people in here. No problem. Take shots at me, whatever you want.
I'd be nice to you, I promise.
Yeah, right.
No, you won't trust me.
I'm trying to find this, see if I can link in here with my phone.
For what? The chat and chat?
Yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that shit out.
So go on Facebook,
I'm on Facebook.
search the Basement Show, search the page.
God did. My account switches over to that. Yeah. Now I see you live.
Yeah, now chat and chat should pop up as you.
Just hit messages.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try this. Choose an option. That's not right. I got the page. You get messages.
Hit comment.
Oh wait, this. No, I think I figured it out. Let me see.
Yeah, now chat and chat should pop up as you.
Let's see if this works. See, it didn't come up. I wrote hello, and nothing popped up.
Because you sent her as a regular message.
Well,
You gotta
okay. Go ahead.
Click on the live show.
The Basement Show. I'm on the page.
Yeah, go and find the live event where it says live.
Okay, yeah, that's you up here in the video corner.
Yeah, so go in the live feed.
It all has boost posts and stuff, John. I can't figure. I'm stupid, I guess.
I'll show you one day.
It doesn't make sense. Why can't I? You're not interacting as your profile.
Yeah, so you should be able to go into the live feed of your chat. And at the bottom it says comment, you would wait what you want to say.
Okay, there it is. Figured it out.
Yay, everyone give Michael a round of applause.
How many?
There it is. Figured it out. Everyone give Michael a round of applause. But now you want to make sure your volume's down on your phone so you don't have that double echo.
Yeah. Do you hear a double echo?
No.
I can tell you. I gotta run that by Andrea. Never mind. It's about another movie night.
Yeah. If you want, just drop it in our group chat.
Yeah, I'll do that.
But no,
I love it. It's Sam's night, and he's not even here.
He was here for over 2 hours.
Oh, never mind. That's just me messing around.
You're the
All
one
right.
that was late to the party.
Yeah, I'm always late to the party. All right. I'm going to sign off, John.
Mike, thanks for popping in.
Are you staying here? You're going to stay here, right?
I'm just going to do the sign off and probably hop off myself.
All right, man. Good night, everybody who's listening or watching or whatever.
So
I will see you. I have to recover, go to bed now and recover from Morgan's. I got to go cry in my room.
the tissues are on the left side of the bed. Okay?
I got to crawl in my bed in the fetus position with Kleenexes to recover from Morgan. Kevin, good night, sir. Good to see you briefly. Sorry I wasn't on earlier.
Night, ladies. Thanks, Lala. Good night.
Nate, Lala, you're awesome. Night.
Well,
All
Kevin's probably been looking with Morgan in the chat, so.
Yeah, he's probably, I don't know, he probably hates on me too.
No one hates you.
That's
They haven't called me complaining about you yet, so.
They will. Sam probably would have been done with me tonight if I was here.
Oh, I think it'd been funny.
Yeah, he got off easy.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you, John. See you, everybody.
All right. Well, now that I'm by myself, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in for an extraordinary weird Friday night movie night. Mr. Simmons had a lot to say about Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Me personally, it wasn't my cup of tea. Andrew felt the same way. I wish I could have got Mike's opinion on it a little bit more, but hey, it's what it is. So our next live show will be next Monday night. We're going to do Russo's Recap where we cover week 4 in the NFL. I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but that show will probably start around 8:30 right before Monday Night Football. And then Tuesday, Trip Tuesday will be back again. So hope everyone that joined us last week joins us this week for it. And then the rest of the next week will be determined as we go, because next Friday night they're going to be doing this Star Wars night. I will jump in at some point, but I won't be here for the entire show. I have a prior obligation I have to fulfill for my two best friends' wedding. But yeah, other than that, I just appreciate everyone's support. This channel is up and coming. We have plenty more to unveil. I mean, we still have to do Video Game Mania one night. We're going to do an actual video game draft in a couple weeks to have some real good fun. But yeah, I mean, thanks to everyone for hanging out tonight. I know it's been a long show, but your support is always greatly appreciated. Even if you just pop in, say hello, and then sign off for the night, it still means a lot to me that you want to stop by. So you just don't like Star Wars. I mean, literally, you're not wrong. I don't, but I'm still gonna pop in and obviously show my show show my show some support, because after all, I am the one that came up with this idea. So it wouldn't be right if I wasn't on the show, even if it is just for a brief appearance. I will still be here at some form of capacity. But until then, I appreciate everybody hanging out, and have a good night.